Hey lovelies, I'm Queen Lovely. Welcome back to my channel, Melanated Crowns, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I wanted to come on here and first start this video off by expressing my deep condolences to the rapper Takeoff. He is part of the trio group Migos. They had been having some issues going on where they kind of separated. Offset has his solo project coming out. I don't know if it's come out already, and then the Migos just released Quavo and Takeoff, 2/3 of the Migos, they had just released their debut, duo album. And they had just put out a music video as well on Halloween Day, which unfortunately, wee hours going into November 1st, Takeoff was, gunned down. It was very unexpected from the videos that I've seen, from the news reports that I've read, from the press conferences that I've watched. It appears to be a situation where there was an argument, there was a disagreement. It's still kind of murky on what was going on because you have the narrative that the media has been pushing since this news has hit the internet and it has hit all of our ears and eyes. And then you have people such as DJ Academics. Shout out to Storm Monroe, a bystander called into his show, and they're giving different accounts. So I've just kind of been waiting to see where this lands. They do have a person of interest that they have identified that they are looking for, whom allegedly started firing. It is to my understanding that it was someone from Takeoff and Quavo's, camp that was firing in defense of what was going on the opposing side with where the conflict was happening. And in the midst of that, Takeoff got hit in his head, and I think he also got hit in his shoulder. But instantly when he got hit in his head, that was pretty much, it for him at that moment. It's very unfortunate and it's really sad to say, but I'm kind of numb and I'm kind of indifferent because I feel like this has happened so much back to back and we haven't seen a change, that right now a lot of people are doing lip service. You understand what I'm saying? Young Dolph's significant other, mother to his children, had reposted this post of this producer saying, I'm going to stop producing music that supports and perpetuates, the themes of violence and killing and all of these other negative stereotypes that really are just not a good. It's not only about being stereotyped, it's about the themes that are always in the mix when we are killing each other, when we are unaliving each other, when we are disrespecting each other, when we are inflicting trauma on one another. And it's just really interesting to me. And granted, I'm not in the street life. I don't own any weapons. So there's always going to be that subjective bias because I can't relate to that lifestyle to where I would feel the need to keep a weapon on me. But it's just interesting how people really don't value life. But I'm just also not surprised. I am not surprised. I've been saying this since 2018. We as a collective are vibrating very low, and we as a collective are in spiritual poverty. And that's why what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. The spirit of confusion is here to keep us separated from our higher selves. The spirit of confusion is here in an effort to have us be desensitized and normalize all of this toxicity, this filth, and just this straight up nasty demonic energy that plagues us on this physical realm. What's really unfortunate about the situation is, are we willing to do what is necessary to begin to break this cycle and minimize the chances of it constantly repeating itself? Joey Badass. And I feel like with Aries going on the North Node next year around the summertime, there really is going to be an uptick in conversations around weaponry, guns and all of that, because Aries deals with guns, it deals with violence, it deals with war, it deals with conflicts. And then we're going to have Libra on the South Node. Joey Badass just did a performance for the Hip Hop BET Awards. And I noticed that he didn't get a lot of nods from people in the industry And what I picked up intuitively was embarrassment and shame and guilt. I understand being young, being ignorant, coming from a disenfranchised neighborhood and background where, you lacked a lot and you wanted for a lot. And, when you get an opportunity to create wealth, when you get an opportunity to create financial situations that allows you to not have limitations on this earth, you take it. And sometimes by doing that, it brings about destruction down the line. We see this all the time, how we have certain artists, female and male, that come out, and because they become so influential, because they blow up, because they become so successful, now all of a sudden people are trying to imitate what they're perpetuating in their art, imitate what they're perpetuating in something that is only supposed to be entertainment. And it's not public figures jobs to raise kids, but it does take a village. And we have to really take a step back and be honest about the type of world we live in and the system that we live in. Think about it. Think about it, right? Um, for the average American who's working a 9 to 5 or doing 10 to 12 hour shifts just so that they can make ends meet, you're not spending much time, especially if you're a parent, with your children. Your children is spending the bulk of their time down to the schoolhouse, and depending on where you live, the taxes is what goes into your school. So if most people live below the poverty line, right, there's a 95%, there's a 5% and a 1%. When you send your kids off to school at 7:30 in the morning, okay, because I've worked with kids since 2015, so I already knows how this shit goes for most people, especially the BIPOC community, okay, Black, Indigenous, people of color. You dropping your child off the earliest you could drop them off so that you can make it to work, and you picking them up the latest that you could pick them up so that you can finish your work and get your work done. When you get home, you try to spend 45 minutes to an hour with your child, and then you're preparing for your next day. And then comes Saturday and comes Sunday. Saturday, you probably got them in some type of extracurricular activity. And Sunday is probably the one day where you could spend an extended amount of uninterrupted time with them. And that's if you are not burnt out. That's if you have a significant other to share the load with. Okay? So if all of this time is being left for your child to be on their iPads, to be on their iPhones, to be on YouTube, to be on Netflix, that's like last year where I was interning as a social worker. These kids that was in K-1 was asking me if I seen Squid Games. How the hell y'all seen Squid Games? I didn't even see it, and I'm 26. So kids are very smart. Like, think about when we was kids and how we're sponges and how we absorb everything around us. And it's just like, I get it. A lot of these kids grow up, they're like, Miss Aaliyah, I want to play basketball, I want to play football, I want to be a rapper, I want to do this, because they're going after the things that they feel like will free them and separate them from this hell that they're living in. Okay, they're getting teased because they don't have the latest coat and the latest shoes at school. They're going to bed hungry because maybe their parents don't have enough to give them an adequate meal. When they come to school the next day and everybody's talking about the new episode of this and that, they can't even relate because their parents don't have cable. And all these things are real. So that's why it's easy later on down the line, many, many moons, when these men and these young women grow up and now contracts are pushed in front of them, and they're just signing on the dotted line without thinking, because they're getting $1 million advance or a $750,000 advance, or whatever the case may be. You don't realize that you're literally signing up to be a puppeteer. A puppeteer, so that you can perpetuate and push agendas that keep all of us down here. It just don't make no sense to me how supposedly homeboy in Houston is supposed to be a gatekeeper of the music industry, and you have two of the biggest artists of our time currently right now. Granted, the Migos haven't really had a big hit in a while, but you can't deny their impact on the genre hip hop and rap and the culture of hip hop. And I don't see how y'all invite them out in your town, in your city, and they don't make it back home safely to their hotel or wherever they were supposed to be going. That don't make no sense to me. And in my opinion, that ain't no coincidence. It's just not. I never understand how people want to flex, 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 and I run this shit and I have power, but when it really matters, all of a sudden everyone is powerless. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence at all. And it's unfortunate. And I feel like we have these tragedies where the person who's not involved, because see, nobody deserves to be killed. Nobody deserves to be killed, but I do, and my nana always used to say it. I think it's like if you die with your back turned, that speaks to the type of life you were living. In some cases, I'm not saying that for Takeoff because again, the point I'm getting to is I feel like for this tragedy in a higher sense, it had to be Takeoff so y'all motherfuckers could stop dead in your tracks and sit the fuck down and really think about your life decisions and how they impact others around you. I ain't saying that Quavo and them was still getting it out the street and they was on some gang shit, but you hanging around people who are about that. You have people in your camp who are about that. Y'all rap about these things. And then y'all have these sold out concerts and tours and award shows where hundreds and thousands of people are saying these same things back to you, not understanding the power of your tongue. And again, I can't 100% say, well, they just need to stop, signing these contracts. People need to just stop wanting to be in the music industry because, like I said, everything, I just laid the foundation. I just laid the foundation why it's so easy for people to just sign on a dotted line and why it's so easy, it's so easy for people not to value life. When you come up in an environment where you feel like people are not prioritizing you and people are not valuing you and you're used to just getting whatever is there and you're being subconsciously programmed to be like, okay, well, this is just what it is. That follows you even once you start making money, even once you start accumulating success. It's a mindset problem. It's a mindset problem. I'm going to be real interested to see how this changes the scope of things if it does. And it's sad because when I speak to people that's in their 40s and 50s, they be like, girl, we've been dealing with this since Biggie and Pop. And when I think about it, I go, damn, they have. This is nothing new. And it's sad. I don't want to say nothing is going to change, but I would not be surprised if nothing changed. I want to see if Offset, if Quavo, if everybody over there at Quality Control Music, I want to hear the music y'all put out after this. Find some other shit to rap about and talk about. I just don't understand. Y'all are living these lavish lives where y'all going to Fashion Week, y'all going to the Met Gala, you're flying all over the world. Talk about that stuff. You could still put it over a drill beat. Talk about that stuff. Like, I just don't get it. And I think that's why R&B is starting to rise again because people are tired of the ignorance. It's ridiculous. Same thing with Nicki Minaj. When Nicki Minaj did her interview and she was like, I'm tired of all of these women talking about sex. There's other things to talk about. And, when I put out my music, I have my wife now, I just had a baby. I'm not in that mindset. But sweetheart, take some accountability because you kicked the fucking door down for that. Little Kim is the blueprint. But by the time you came in, you literally inspired this whole generation. You on the female rapper front and then Black China on like the Instagram stripper bartender front. I was there for it all. So sometimes we're a bit embarrassed to take accountability and responsibility for the role we play. I see Mano doing his rest in peace post, but you and Jim Jones at your big age of 40 and up just put out a mixtape called Lobby Boys. And y'all ain't nowhere near boys, at least in age. Now mindset, that's a different conversation. And y'all lead single is Slide. Don't Make Me Slide. What does slide mean? So come on now. Come on, y'all. Come on now. We can't heal in the same place we got sick. And it's okay to acknowledge and say, you know what? I understand I'm part of the problem. I produce the music, I spin the records, I write the lyrics. I'm not at that space where I'm ready to let it all go though, because this is my bread and butter. I could respect that because admitting is half of the battle. But a lot of y'all act like just so, oh my God, I can't believe this happened again. Really? I could believe it. I could believe it. And I'm watching far from across the street. Y'all right up there front and center creating a space for this nonsense. So why can't you believe it? Because I could believe it. It's just really sad and it's just really unfortunate. And I feel like when deaths like this happen that impact us as a culture and impact us as a collective, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. It's the same thing with the getting mad that he's recorded on the floor. Y'all did it to Nipsey. Y'all did it to XXXTentacion. Y'all did it with King. Y'all do the same shit over and over again and expect different results. And that literally is insanity. Okay. So that's it. I just wanted to come on here. Oh, before I leave, where we at? Oh, 60 minutes? Damn, I was talking for a minute. Zaya Wade, Dwayne Wade, and the ex-wife, briefly. I had put on my community wall yesterday that she filed the paperwork, and Dwayne Wade came out and he gave us like a long synopsis and said this is what I will say. This is what I will say. And I don't know why Chloe Billy hopped in my head, because remember Chloe said that she no longer talks to her parents anymore because they really didn't agree with the fact that she was being more salacious and overt sexually, like with just how she was presenting herself. And I'm gonna just say this. I knew it was about to be a shift in how we viewed Chloe and Holly, or Haley, however you say her name. I don't know why I could never get it right, but I think is it Holly Bailey or is it Haley? Y'all let me know. When they put out that joint album, The Ungodly Hour. I already knew. I already knew when they put out that joint album, The Ungodly Hour, I knew something was up. Now, here's the thing. Chloe is a young lady in her 20s, and I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring your sexuality. I've actually done a video with my full sentiments about it, but I can see how her parents would be like, well, if you're going to allow yourself to be swallowed up by the cliches and the norms of the industry, which as a female artist, sex sells, we just gonna have to back up because we don't support it. And I'm sure that does hurt her, and I'm sure it does bother her. She's a Cancer son. You know, Cancer deals with family, it deals with comfort, it deals with the things that nourishes us. But it be like that sometimes. You know, sometimes people just feel like, yeah, I'm not gonna sit up here and support this with you. Like, yeah, no. So I say that to say, when it comes to Zaya Wade and her mom, I don't, let me tell you something, and I've spoken about Zaya Wade before. I don't care if you want to be an elephant and they have some technology that allows you to put a trunk on your ass and put something on your nose and give you some Dumbo ears. Do what makes you happy. But because of the atrocities that go on in Hollywood and the so much grooming and manipulation, we're not gonna act like D Wade did not cheat on that woman. And then when y'all went to court because you had more money, that's why you won. I think it's so easy when you have, for example, look at 50 Cent and Tierra Marie. And y'all know I love me some 50 Cent. But in all honesty, I don't think Tierra Marie should have had to pay money for her sex tape being released. Granted, I do think there was a little bit of karma there because I feel like You should have sued the person that put the tape out. You're suing 50 Cent for reposting a still shot that was already going around. And you technically only sued him because you thought you was going to get bigger bucks and it blew up in your face. But here's the thing. Had Tierra Marie been a woman who was on 50's level economically, I don't think it would have went that way where she would have lost the case and now he's able to garnish her checks. So we have to stop always being like, oh, well, this person won this case or that. Well, no, it does not always work that way. The same situation is going on with Nipsey Hussle's baby mother and his family. They have more resources, so it's easier for them. And I'm not saying that what they're saying is a lie or it's not true, but money talks and bullshit walks, okay? It's better to be rich and guilty than poor and innocent. It's about your defense. It's about you having the dream team. And sometimes in some cases with the dream team, they be tapped in with the judge and it be all types of stuff. So I'm interested to see how the D Wade situation goes, because I don't think there's anything wrong with the mom saying like, can we just wait until she's 18 to change her name legally? And granted, think about it. What you wanted at 15, 14, 13, and 12, do you still want that now at your big age? So, I mean, granted, she's not getting a sexual reassignment surgery, but the mother is just saying, can we wait until she's 18 for her to change her name? And I don't know. My spirit never lies, and there's just something off about that situation. It has nothing to do with the transgender and all of that. I just feel like it's interesting that y'all paraded this girl. And when I really started to raise my eyebrow was when I went to her Instagram page and I'm like, why are y'all always posting these pictures of her looking like a little boy playing dress up? But she has pictures where she looks gorgeous. She looks stunning. She's really coming into her femininity, and y'all won't repost or parade that. It's almost like y'all wanted to create controversy so that y'all could come in and say, well, you know, against all the controversy, we're standing strong with our daughter. And it does seem performative and it does seem exploitive, because you can support her and champion her without having her all over the place. And I'm interested to see when she's 21, 25, and 30, if she'll look back at this and how she'll feel about being. I always wonder that when it comes to celebrity kids, because kids don't know. It's like they're conscious and they're smart. They're not stupid, but they don't always know the ramifications of their actions or what they're agreeing to until much later on. And I don't know. I just feel like it's easy for Gabrielle to be more accepting and look like the model stepmother, especially when the behavior of the child is in alignment with your agenda to begin with. I'm just saying. So that's just my opinion, and that's how I feel. I don't have a problem with them supporting Zaya. I don't have a problem with them standing by her. I don't have a problem with them making sure she has everything she needs. But you're not going to convince me that this mother doesn't have a right to chime in about a child that came out of her fucking uterus. We just not going to do that. And I know that she's had some issues with D Wade, but again, he cheated on her and he had more money and he probably had a better defense and a better legal team, and that's why shit was able to pan in his favor. We see this happen all the time, okay? All the time. So y'all have a good day. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. Please hit the thumbs up, comment below, let me know what you think. And if you are new here, be sure to subscribe and hit and enable that notification bell. See you later. Bye.